All right,
Sweet.
now I think we are. Now I think we're live. I didn't realise we had to press a live button. We'll just wait for a few punters to jump on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's just I always like to check if we're live and stuff. By going onto my phone and just seeing are we live yet?
All right, we got.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, Grouse. Wait, that might be myself. Hang on. The only person that might be on might be myself. Hang on. No, it might be someone else. Go in the comments to say g'day. If you're watching, okay, we've got two viewers, so might as well get things underway, I reckon. So, g'day everyone, SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present a live stream, Wednesday night live stream, while on the TV there, I'm watching the Ashes at the same time. So, look, it's very good to do a live stream, and joining me is Brad from SuperCoach Pro, as always. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. I was just about to sneeze my head off, so good timing. How are you going?
Yeah, going good, mate. Going good. And then we're going with our first guest of the live stream. Shout out to the one person watching. It is Joe from Centre Bounds. How you doing, my friend?
Good, Steve. Thanks for having me, Brad, mate. Good to see you as well. Unfortunately, you're wearing Richmond jersey, so it's all right. It is what it is. But really excited to be here and talk all things SuperCoach.
Yeah, of course, mate. Look, so I guess we can start off by saying, while we wait for a couple more people to jump on, I think we can go over what our thoughts were over the weekend of footy. So, Brad, I guess you can start us off. What do you think of the weekend of footy and maybe talk about your Tigers a little bit?
Yeah, I thought there was a couple upsets there. The Melbourne and Brisbane game was probably the game of the round for me. It was pretty clutch. Some good moments in there. It felt like a final sort of game. Brisbane should have had it, in my opinion. Then the Blues upset Port, but I actually thought that could have been a thing anyway. That was surprising to most, but I actually thought at home they actually would win that one. And then, watching my boys get it done was a little bit frustrating because we sort of didn't use the ball well all day, so we could have used a real percentage booster there. And to be honest, I don't think either of our teams in this live stream, I don't think any of our teams will make the finals, if I'm completely honest. So, but it was a good weekend of footy, and we're now to the dire ends of SuperCoach. No one's got trades, so here we go, live streams. What do you guys think of the footy this weekend?
I thought the Sydney game, it was a rough round for me for tipping wise, honestly. Like I tipped the doggies, I tipped the Lions, and like both of them just fell short, and they could have gone either way. I feel as a Bomber supporter, I feel good that the Bulldogs lost, and hopefully they feel dejected coming into Friday night, and we have a chance to win because we need to win that game so badly. I thought the biggest takeaway from the weekend was just how disappointing St Kilda are. I just thought they're doing last year all over again. Just start strong and then just fall off a cliff. Like, I understand that there's injuries and things like that, but far out, like 26 points to the Suns, that's no bueno.
Yeah, I'll continue with that. Look, I thought it was a pretty decent weekend of footy. I thought the Melbourne-Brisbane game, as we said, probably the highlight of the whole week. I tipped the D, so I was kind of hoping they got over the line, and I was jumping for joy a little bit when Jakey Melksham kicked that goal.
Oh.
No, it was a great Friday night game. It was a pretty solid weekend. It was good to see the Hawks get a win, so pretty rare occurrence these days. So you've got to appreciate any win that comes their way. So very happy with that. I just thought, I don't think we played anything that good. Like, we didn't know where the goals were in the first half. I just thought North Melbourne were just so dreadful. I thought they were awful. Weren't even close to us, really. So I guess disappointing from a North Melbourne point of view, where they just didn't really rock up at all. So, I thought it was a pretty solid weekend of footy, and 6 more rounds to go. So, should be pretty good. Look, we will move over to the run sheet now. We'll go over to our SuperCoach sides. So we'll mix in with a bit of AFL general talk, a bit of SuperCoach as the season sort of winds down. So I guess with our we can start off with our SuperCoach score, our rank, and also I thought I'd add a good, bad, and ugly. So I stole this from AFL 360, where we talk about a good part of our SuperCoach week, a bad part of our SuperCoach week, and a really ugly part of our SuperCoach week. So I can start us off. So it'd be good for me to actually bring up what I actually scored, since I don't remember it all. Good planning, Steve. You plan the run sheet, but don't really know what you're doing. All right. So I scored 2,401. So that was a pretty solid round of scoring. Went up 302 spots in my season rank is now 1,724. So I thought the good this week, it should be better than good. It was great. Sorry to rub it in, Brad, but that 173 VC by Big Timmy English, the big pencil, delivered me a massive score for my vice captain on a Thursday night, and it was really good to get that captain out of the way on the Thursday night. So that was a massive highlight for me. The bad, I think it's just Jack Sinclair's inconsistent scoring. We know that he can give us some really solid scores of 130s here, 115, but there's these scores that 67, I believe there was a couple of 70s in there. I think he even scored a 62 or something at some point as well over the past few months. So that's pretty disappointing. Also, the ugly. I think the ugly for me was James Sicily getting hard tagged all game by two North Melbourne blokes.
Wow.
One over the hill, one a young bloke that just wants to make a name of himself. I brought him in this week just as a pod, being in the top 1%, but GOG, he's dropped me a 58, and so that was no good. Brad, do you want to talk about your week?
Yeah, mine's pretty bad. I scored 2,242 this week. I haven't even done my season, my round review. I've just been doing all in one at the moment, just a review and a preview because the viewers are dropping off. But season rank is 6,652. So it's been an inconsistent season. As you know, Steve, in particular, I started off 100,000 rank. So that was round one. So I've been climbing all the way back, and just to even make the top 10K was hard enough as it is. So I sort of a little bit annoyed with my things that is pure bad luck. Like I brought in Sarong. He scores me a 90, and then the week after he's out of the side for a tackle, like gets stuffed. And then I've got Cameron on the field, so I had to field Marek. Then I brought Jeremy Cameron in as a cheap primo the week he got concussed against Melbourne. Tom Green's sitting on my bench. Melkin's done a hammy. I'm playing Johnson and Shinkoda at M8 and 7, respectively. Marek F6 because Dunkley's also injured. So it's like I planned for 23, 24 primo side, and then all the players that I picked as pods or as starting picks or whatever, just injuries galore. So I've got one trade left. I'm thinking of doing something weird with it, and I'll explain to you guys a bit later. So the team in general is just ugly, but out of bad luck. Good thing is I see Dacos because I wasn't going to take VC Lockie Neal, who just didn't turn up at all. And this side just feels really average for a really good squad on paper. It just feels stupid. Like I held the right players. Like I held Sheasel over Zeeble, so that was the right call. He's still averaging 94 for the season, so he scored me a 103. Will Days scored four tons out of the last 5 matches thereabouts, so he's bounced back nicely. So he's averaging 96. I bought him for 450, so I didn't really care too much. Even like all the players I bought in primo wise, we all get merit. I bought him for 570k. I didn't pay any overs apart from starting Laird and bringing in Clary and holding him like you did, Steve, for 7 or 8 weeks. That's killed me. So mine's not necessarily about doing stupid things or rookie errors or just stupid SuperCoach things. Mine's just pure bad luck. So I think, like we discussed a couple of weeks ago too, it's so important to get your starting squad right and then move on, because I've blown so many trades at the start of the season, whereas last year I only had to use 2 trades in 4 rounds, and this season I've had to use a trade every round. So, yeah, what about you, Joe?
Yeah, look, I was also ranked like 30,000 at the start of the year. So I feel your pain, man, with the bad starting team, and it's been a long haul trying to get to where I am now. I managed to make top 1%, but I've slipped out of the top 1% this week. I scored 2,303, and that saw me slip back 271 spots. I'm now ranked 2,871. So I thought it was a decent score, 2303. The one big problem that has separated me from the other guys who went up the rankings was I didn't have English or Gorn. I don't have either of these two players. Marshall and Briggs. And both of these guys combined didn't reach English alone. And then you got people like Steve who have English VC. So it's just, adding insult to injury. The good, I guess, is that I was able to take the Dacos captaincy score at 130 because I was initially going to go with Zach Merritt, who scored a 69 in the end. So I was very happy that Dacos went big enough for me to take the 130. The bad, I guess, is that I had a few players underperform this week, unfortunately. So obviously you got Sinclair, Merritt, Neil. I traded in Mills this week because I wasn't sure. I thought Darcy Cameron's back injury was going to be pretty bad, seeing as he hadn't improved at all. So I just tried it out DC to get Mills, who gave me an 84, Himmelberg 80. So there was a few poor scores from my primos. And the ugly was that I 2 weeks ago had traded out Big Maxi Gorn so that I could get Petrarca. So I have Briggs sitting at R3, and Gorn is rucking, sharing the ruck with Grundy. And Gorn, my plan for the season was I started off with Wits, and then Wits was the late out for the game. By that time, English was already playing. So I thought, you know what? I mapped it out. I'll go Wits to Grundy, Grundy to Gorn. Gorn will get forward status, and I can get English when he drops in price again. Unfortunately, Gorn was at one too many center bounces, and he missed forward status by 0.1%.
Yeah.
So I would have had both Gorn and English in my team. Had that one less center bounce happen, I would have had both of them. And unfortunately, I've got none of them, and that is going to set me back very badly for the rest of the year. Because I see English going big again this week against us.
Mate, I feel your pain, mate. I think a lot of people would have brought in Darcy Cameron. Sorry, not Darcy Cameron, Max Gorn if you got forward status instead of grabbing Darcy Cameron. But hey, we can't predict everything, unfortunately. That was super stiff. You wouldn't know that Brody Grundy would have gotten dropped last week. So yeah, it's just super stiff. For anyone watching, make sure you're more than welcome. We won't bite. You can put in a comment and we'll answer any comments, whether that's SuperCoach, AFL, non-sport related, doesn't matter. We'll answer any of them. And it's not the end of the world if we don't get any comments. We'll turn this into a show that people can watch the next day. So, look, we will continue with the run sheet and we'll answer some questions whenever necessary. Now, this is going to be more of an AFL question. Now, we heard this week that the AFL potentially going to be looking at wildcard finals format. So I'd like to hear what you guys think, in your opinion, on what you guys think about this potential format. I think it could go either way, whether people like it or don't like it. I'm personally open-minded, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Brad, what do you think of it?
I was going to say, do you want to explain it to what the format is to the viewers first before we delve into it?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the wildcard format for finals is that, like we've seen in the NBA and all these other sports across the world now, is that so that the top 8, but 7 play 10 and 8 play 9 during the finals bye, which I'd assume would be the case, for a potential as an extra couple of elimination finals, basically. So if 7 play 10, 10 or 7 win, they play whoever's sick. and then 8B9 they play the winner of that. Whoever plays will play whoever's fifth. So, look, I'll quickly bring it up right now. I believe, as we speak right now, I believe it would be a. While I bring up the ladder, it would be a Western Bulldogs versus Carlton wildcard final and an Essendon versus GWS final. I assume it would be the Friday and the Saturday night. So, what do you guys potentially think, Brad? If you want to start off with us.
I was being sneaky. I didn't know this. That's why I asked you the question. So thanks for explaining that to me.
You're living under the rock, brother.
I've been working too much, and yeah, to be honest. Anyway, I don't like it. I'm more traditional when it comes to this kind of thing. I think you just leave it as is, or else then you start getting weird other ideas. If we sort of allow one finals thing, what happens then? What they say? Oh, one in 5 have to play for a top 4 spot. Like, I just think it gives it a little bit too many variables when you've explained it like that. And we're not basketball either, so I probably like how our sport is so unique to the game. So I probably wouldn't change it. In my opinion, that's what I'm going to leave it as, Steve. But yeah, what do you guys think? It'll be interesting.
I agree. I'm not a fan of it at all. I think if you're going to be like, it's so clear cut and dry. You are top 8 to play finals. Like, that's it.
Yep.
And you've got a whole season to get there. It's normally 23 rounds. We've got an extra round this year. You've got 24 weeks to earn a finals berth. And if you guys are on equal points for games, well, we've got the percentage to differentiate between the teams. So that's it. Like, you've got 24 rounds to get into finals. If at the end of the 24th round, you, mate, are not in the top 8, guess what? You don't play finals. I don't see why a team that's finished 6th, like at this point it's St. Kilda, right? St. Kilda are in the 8, they're 6th on the ladder. They're not even 8th. They're 6th on the ladder, and they might lose their spot to someone, like outside of the 8. Why?
Yeah.
Why? For me, that just feels like the AFL is trying way too hard to make drama. You don't need to make more extra drama. The season is already the tightest it's ever been. Look at that ladder logjam. You know what I mean? Like, every week is drama already. Look at our run home. We've got the Dogs this week. We then got Sydney. We've then got GWS. Like, we are playing against all these teams around us. Like, every week matters. You don't need to create this extra final in order to create hype. I'm already going to have a heart attack as it is, mate.
Look, I'll be a bit different to you boys. I personally am open-minded to it either way, just because I don't mind the idea. Like, it's two extra games of footy. We're dying for this finals bye to have something or completely scrap it. Why not have, hey, how about if you're a team finishing 10th? Awesome. We actually have a chance to sneak into the final. Or if you're looking at an 8v9 matchup, they could be on the same amount of points, but like, 0.4% difference. Why not battle it out? 7th and 8th will get home ground. So if you want to make finals, you should be winning that anyway. Why not create a little bit of extra competition while the other top 6 teams have a little rest heading into finals? I don't think it's a bad idea. Friday and Saturday night, extra footy. The game's always revolutionising. If we kept listening to the fans, stop making changes, stop making these rule changes, we'd still have a top 4 finals. So I think you always got to revolutionise the game. That's going to get more revenue.
If you're 5, 6, 7, 8, you already are disadvantaged in that you don't have double chance. Top 4 do. So you already are playing not on equal level with the top 4. Not only are you not going to be equal with them, you already have sudden death. You're going to have a sudden death before your sudden death. You're just adding an extra disadvantage to the bottom 4 of the 8. You are almost guaranteeing that the top 4 are going to make it the distance, because the bottom 4 are going to have to play an extra final for their survival. So they're going to be completely burnt out, whilst the top 4 teams get the bye, get the rest. They then, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's way too much of a burden on the bottom 4. I think if you're going to do that extra spicy round, if you also have to be able to give someone who's just missed out on top 4 the ability to get into the top 4. Because at this point, it's just way too onerous on the bottom 4 teams. Where's the benefit? You might as well not even try. You might as well aim for 9th or 10th and consider it a chance of finals anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, I think, well, first of all, it's disadvantage to 7 and 8, not the bottom 4 of, but it also creates better competition from 11th to 14th. There'll be more teams actually trying. There'll be more games that matter heading into the last sort of rounds. Like, there's a lot more on the line. Round 23, 14th versus 12th, where as normal we wouldn't really give a crap. So it's kind of that sort of thing. And if you don't want to finish 7th or 8th, then you've got to be better. So
well, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
I think Steve wants this because Hawthorn will finish 14th, so he wants to see him in the final, Joe.
No, I've seen enough.
He's like, the Hawks have a chance if this happens.
Yeah, I know, right? You say get better. Yeah, I mean, you say for 7 and 8 to be better. No, in every year since the beginning of the AFL, 7 and 8 is better than everybody outside of the 8. Since the dawn of time, if you finish 7th or 8th, obviously for most years you're making up the numbers, right? Because it's in the grand final winner tends to be in the top 4 anyway. So what are we scrapping the necessity for 5, 6, 7, 8 now? Oh, hardly anyone wins from outside top 4. What's the point? You know, let's just, I feel like change where necessary should be implemented. But I think this change in particular, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. The top 8 system works, doesn't it?
I've got one more idea for you. If you wanted to play something weird, right? And what I'd do is I'd make 9th play 12th, and this is for like the bottom half of the 8. 9th plays 12, 10 plays 11th, and the winner out of those plays a mini grand final on that week off.
So like the World Cup where I fight for bronze, for a bronze medal.
Correct.
Sort of.
Correct. Basically like a little mini cup where you win 10K, and yeah, it's a playoff. It's a mini playoff. It's a 2-week playoff where 9 plays 12, 10 plays 11, the week after on that bye week or whatever. Or it might, I don't know, maybe it might be the first week of the actual final. So maybe they do that on the bye, on that week of the bye, they do those 2 games. And then the first week of the finals, they put that on the Thursday night, 9th players 11 for whoever made it into that mini final. And then that's your kickoff to the finals.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Won't lie, boys. I think that was a losing battle. I felt like Ukraine in the Russia fight. War, sorry. So I just wanted to create a little bit of an argument because it was going to be pretty boring if we all agreed. So I thought I'd give my case, but that's fair enough. Honestly, I really couldn't give a crap if it happens or not. But I'm a little bit more open-minded to you guys. Yeah, we've got a few questions. We've got a few comments here, so let's get to that. Field Ollie, thank you for the question, mate. Hey, boys, thanks for the consistent videos. I have 2 trades left and don't know what to do. Wardlaw's there for 3 to 4 weeks. I can trade him and marriage to 2 and a 102K rookie. This means I can have Mills and don't know.
He continues it.
And Took as my M8, M9 and have Butters in my midfield. So if injury in the forward line, I can either put him in the forward or cover with Mitchell, who's covering my defence and forward. Okay, hang on. I really need to get my brain working here. That's a lot of info. Can you boys see the comments as well?
Yes.
On the side?
Yeah, okay. You gotta click out of private chat, Brad, and you're gonna press comments in the top right.
So
mine's on my Samsung, so it probably doesn't show me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's on a bloody Samsung, so he got what he deserved there. Yeah. Okay, 2 trades left. Don't know what to do. Law's out for 3 to 4 weeks. I can trade him and Marich at Tuke and a 102k rookie. That means I can have Tuke as my M8 then M9. So
I'd do it.
yeah, I reckon I'd do that. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, that's a good punt.
Yeah.
Why not? You've only got 5 or 6 weeks left.
Yeah, and Tuke's a pod, and we know what he's capable of. Like he wasn't priced at 662k at the start of the year for no reason. Like he was there for a reason. So I would do that. Yeah, I'd be down. Don't know what 102k rookie. I mean, there might be one that debuts this week. Is there a chance Brett Montgomery's going to make his debut sometime soon, Joe?
I'm not sure if he will, to be honest. If anything, I think Nick Cox is going to get the call up, and if Nick Cox doesn't get the call up, then it will be Kane Baldwin. So unless our back line gets completely decimated, I think both of those guys are ahead of Montgomery, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not too optimistic about his prospects this year.
I wouldn't mind Nick Cox for 2024, so hopefully he doesn't get a game. So hopefully that answers your question there, Ollie. I'd be down for that. I like Tuke. Wardlaw's out for a few weeks, so I can totally understand that as well. Thanks again, boys. No worries, mate. I could wait. Ollie as well put in this. I could wait a week and get a playing rookie instead of a 102k non-playing one. I'd probably just do it this week. Don't you reckon?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, what's Harvey? Has Harvey gone up yet in price?
Nah, he's on the bubble this week.
Yeah, I'd get Cooper Harvey then, right?
Well, he's 117k.
Oh, he's 117, but he'll play.
I've got a suggestion.
Yeah.
If you want a 102k rookie and you think a guy might get late games, if Richmond start losing a couple and we can't make finals, we'll probably play that James Teresa, whatever you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a good shout of a rookie in the defense. I think he might play the last couple of games. There's a couple of Richmond rookies that I don't mind. They're playing all right in the VFL, but he'd be the best one for that price, and he might even play a couple of games. But I hate trading in dead rookies. Like, I find it, I'm probably one of the only ones that, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way to do it, but I always look for a rookie, even if it's 123k that actually is playing, and I'd rather slightly downgrade my primo so I could have that extra cover, because I don't really like, especially this late in the season, I don't mind a little bit of cover, and that's why I sort of took a punt on paying up for Melican. Like, hasn't paid off now because he's now injured with a hamstring, but I'd sort of rather pay than just buy dead rookies in, because it depends how many dead rookies you got. If you got a good bench, then yeah, take the punt and get a 102 dead rookie. But if your bench is looking pretty scarce, I'd be going up to a 123k that's on his bubble or something like that you can pinch. So that's my opinion, boys. What do you think when it comes down to rookies this late in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that extra 15,000 to get like a Harvey who I know is going to play every single week. But
yeah.
But the difference is, if I'm missing out on Tuke, and the next best option is, I don't know, who's Mills or something.
Mills or Steele probably.
Mills or Steele. I mean, Steele's gone up in price now, so I don't know. I think it depends on the premium, I guess, if we're talking. Someone who's too good to pass up. Tuke is
518, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, 518 on the dot.
Damn, you must count prices in your head as you go to sleep, Steve.
Steele is 501. Steele 501.
There's 6 months without SuperCoach. I just make sure that I enjoy the time while I can, because I have to go back to Fantasy Premier League in the off season to cover for it.
Go Chelsea.
Come on, you All right. Thank you, Field Ollie, for the questions there, mate. If you've got any more, send them. Sure. What's cracking, my boys? G'day, Global. Joe has sent you a couple of comments there. Globes, how's it? I feel like a narrator here. Global, how's it going, mate? Good to see these handsome young men. 2 young men here, mate. One down the bottom, not so much.
No,
Yeah, I
love
did
it.
10.
Love you.
Yeah.
Love it, Brad.
32. May as well be 62.
Nah, 32 is still young, especially in
Yeah.
Geelong. Who are the main trade targets this week? Good question. Well, I'm not making any trades this week, so I haven't really
No.
checked much, but I'd assume Tuke Miller would be up there, as we've mentioned. I think LDU is a good option as well if you can get there. Caleb Sarong, if you're looking for a midfield upgrade there. Touch
George
and go.
Hewitt.
Jack Butters, it sound. George Hewitt. What's he priced at?
Oh,
280 or 281, I think.
259.
Oh, way
259,800. George Hewitt,
That
mate.
is such a good price.
Who am I thinking of then?
that is-
Never mind.
No, you're thinking of Hewitt. It's just because he had a high break even last week. Maybe you're thinking of his old price.
His break even
maybe.
down now to 53. Break even at 53 against West Coast Eagles, mate.
Mate, that's
Yeah.
pretty. He's got the Eagles. He's got. They play someone else easy later in the year, don't they? Isn't there someone else easy?
Hawthorn's not there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately for Carlton, they can't have another game where they leave us with 0 goals at half time. So I think if you're looking for a rookie as well, I think Cooper Harvey's a good shout. Look out for some debutants this week. Global also mentioned as well, we don't want any more rookies this season. Pretty spot on. We want to hold them out for next year. That's why I don't want Nick Cox to play or anything. Hopefully your boy James Trezise, or however you say it, doesn't get a game, because I think he could be a good cash cow next season. Puts up a good VFL number, so hopefully he can just stay there. Be good, but not too good. Gone. Yeah, that's a bit of a... Sorry, Joe, there, mate. Global's gone at you there. I've got Sheldon. Who's Sheldon?
I think he means Sheldrick.
Yeah.
Sheldrick.
I think he means Sheldrick, yeah.
He's done for the season. That's
Yeah.
why he's not happy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if he wasn't sub, I would have absolutely jumped on this pick, but that's absolutely killed us there. Now, Sheldrick was a good pick, mate. Just a bit stiff with the injury there. The right idea was there. A couple of comments here that I find quite interesting. Yeah, Walsh is a good shout. I quite like that. I like Walsh for next year as well in 2024. Yes, I'm already thinking about that. He says Parrish as well. Yeah, Parrish is a good shout. Eston's got a good run. Corey.
Causa!
Hey, guys. Causa, how we going, mate? Great to see you on board as well.
Oh, mate!
George,
The GOAT.
the great man. Good to see Brad put Tinder down to jump on this.
Hey, George, this is how I have a kid. No shit, right? So I was on Tinder, right? Don't worry, it's not a bad story. I met this beautiful woman. Next minute, the rest is history. But yeah, I've got a son now from Tinder, so.
And
now
that
I've
is
got to
how I
go.
met your mother.
That is literally how I met your mother. Yeah, so now I've got to go to Madura every fortnight to go see him. We're in good terms, obviously. I actually play Fortnite with her just about every night after Muay Thai and work. So yeah.
Is that why you couldn't do the stream tomorrow night instead of tonight?
Yeah, because I got to go to bed early at 8 p.m. tomorrow night to wake up for 5 a.m. drive up to Madura to see my son. So yeah, thanks Tinder.
Wow. Thank you, George. Yeah, and he's got another one here. Play keen on for 2024. All right. I think we can name probably a few players each here. I'll just rattle off a couple. Nick Dacos, if there's a bloke I'm going to pay 650 plus K for next year. Harry Sheasel. I like Harry Sheasel if he's still going to play down in that defence role. He could be the Nick Dacos for 2024. In the midfield, I really like Sam Walsh if they're going to play more midfield. I think he's going to be at a good price at around 570K. Sicily, if he averages around here, he'll be under 600K. I think that's good value. If Grundy goes to a third club, I think Grundy's a good one as well. Sheldrick, if you want to go for a mid-price or down forward. Luke Jackson, if Sean Darcy leaves Freo in the
To go to
off-season,
Geelong.
yeah, I'm all on the Luke Jackson train. Number one ruck. yeah, I love Luke Jackson for next year. He's better as a ruck. How about you guys? Do you guys want to spit out a few?
Piggybacking on that, if Sean Darcy goes to Geelong, Sean Darcy is 100% in my team next year. He is gonna that's exactly what Geelong are missing. A dominant ruckman. That's the last thing they need. The final cherry on top. I'm gonna 100% go Sean Darcy at 1 and English for the other one. I was thinking maybe English and Briggs, but if Sean Darcy goes to bloody Geelong, then Sean Darcy is 100% in my side. Unfortunately, they're really good at managing their players, so there might be some games where Sean Darcy doesn't play. So I'll really like that. I think Tuke Miller is going to be underpriced, I think, going into next year because he's played a lot less games. So I reckon Tuke Miller will be in my side next year. Dacos, I'll never bet against this guy. He's unstoppable. Dacos is an absolute freak. And I think in terms of in the forward line, that's probably the biggest issue. I think there's going to be no forward eligible players. Because I'm pretty sure Cogs is not going to have it. Dunkley won't have it. Goulden probably won't have it. Rosie might, maybe. Taranto won't have it. So none of these guys are going to have forward status. I don't even know who I'm going to pick in my forward line next year. Could be Darcy Cameron as my F1 next year.
No, he's that's pretty disrespectful to George, by the way. He hates Darcy Cameron, and you bring him up. No, it's probably too injury prone for my liking. Just back to what you were thinking about Tim English as your player next year. Are you actually going to pay $700K, you reckon, for Tim English next year? Because that's where he's probably going to be priced at.
Well, he's in the prime of his career still. He's finally put the games together. The problem for him has always been that he hasn't been able to have a full season. And so I think now he's shown that he is capable of going for a whole season. The Dogs are still good. He has a tremendous role. So, if he is $700K at the start of the year, I might have to think about it. But I still think he is by far and away the most consistent best ruckman in the comp. And I like to set and forget in the ruck. That's sort of my. I don't like meddling in the ruck. And as Causa says there in the comments, Petrarca will most likely have forward status, seeing as he's playing so much forward. So Petrarca is going to be in my team next year, I reckon.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's fair enough. I think I might try to avoid paying too much for blokes if possible. I think Tim English is just a great option, though. I'll tell you what, if Sean Darcy does leave, I wouldn't mind doing a Sean Darcy, Luke Jackson ruck combo, and then eventually moving Jackson to my forward line and just getting an English eventually. So I think that's a good play. Field Ollie, we've got a lot of questions. We'll go through this a little bit quicker. If I get Tuke, I'll have 113 900K. But if I can get a 123K rookie, if I get Steele, Tuke versus Steele, I'd go Tuke.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, I'd go Tuke. I think Steele's fine. I think Steele should be able, if he's healthy and all that, he should be fine. I just think Tuke Miller, there's a little bit more security there. Steele does have the role, but it's just more, will something else happen to Jack Steele where he's once again playing through injury, barely getting through, so that sort of thing. Thank you for the question, Field Ollie. Causa had a huge week, scored 25-64. Yeah, I know, mate. You bloody beat me in the league, and I might miss the SDS Times Pro League finals. I couldn't believe it. For the round, went up 3.3K, ranks now 6.2, and flying home strong. Yeah, mate. Shame you've got. Sorry for being SDS. Yeah, cheers, mate. I might miss finals in my own league, so that's just great. No, that's all right, Corey, mate. You had a ripping week. I think I said in my round review when I reacted to your score, I was like, bloody hell, that must have been definitely a top 1,000 score there. George says, congrats. That was to the news with Brad having a little kid there. Global, I met my missus on Tinder, 5 years strong. Mate, I love it.
I love it. I mean, doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you are happy in life. No,
Happy
good on
wife,
you,
happy
Global.
life, mate. As they say.
Yeah,
Mate.
happy wife, happy life. I don't know. Yeah, Mrs. I assume that's wife. Going next year, yeah. If Grundy pisses off, I'd be down. But Gordon's
Yeah.
like 33 next year. I don't know. Like, that's
No.
pretty old.
I don't want anyone in my starting team
Sorry,
next year.
32 is not old.
Yeah, but I don't want anyone in my starting team next year that's 28 years older or and above. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just want the young prime players who have good injury history, maybe minus English. You always start the injury prone players, but then again, he's so expensive you can always sideways him to someone else if the worst comes to worst. But I'm going to be very, very picky with my starting team next year. It stuffed me up big time.
Well, you're not going to be picking Buddy next year.
Nah. The Swans won't be picking him next year. He's gone. He's retired.
Yeah, he's gone. He can barely play now. To be fair, against the Dogs, I thought it was one of his best games last Thursday. I thought he actually played pretty well.
He was
Global,
clunky, right?
thank you again. Thank you again, mate. I'll look at Grundy at Port next year. Mate, I'm all for it. I'd look at him. Solo ruck. We know his history.
Yeah, but
If he's a
won't
solo
work
ruck at
Finn
another
Ison?
club, I'm all on. Yeah, he'll give him a little chop out, but Grundy can't play forward, so he'll ruck for most of the game.
I feel like there's something wrong with Grundy. His tank looks hopeless too. I don't trust it.
Yeah, from what I heard on the training reports, Gawn was running laps around him. Like, was running absolute circles around him. So, yeah, you're right. I think there is a problem with his fitness base.
Yep.
Oh, gee, I just saw that Warner went out. Damn it. Okay. Global. I'm not sure if you guys watch the Ashes. I assume.
Nah.
You don't.
Mate, I'm Wog. I don't watch any Ashes. I just like soccer and football. That's it.
The only Ashes I see is if there's
no.
someone getting cremated. That's the only Ashes I see.
Yeah. Your ancestors' ashes near the fireplace.
Correct. This is Grandpa. This is great grandpa.
Yeah, he wants to say g'day.
He was die-hard Essendon fan. Oh my god.
Are you sure you're not a Carlton fan now?
I don't know, man. I'm just freaking changing hats left, right, and center. Who knows? I don't want Carlton making finals. I don't want Carlton making finals. Fine, if Carlton make finals, I did a ladder predictor today, just off topic. The ladder predictor that I came up with, honestly, is probably the best I've ever seen anywhere. So I ended up having, we were in the 8 playing against Carlton in the elimination final.
Ooh, juicy.
I had Collingwood versus Melbourne, Geelong versus the Giants, and Port versus Brisbane.
I'd froth that finals fixture. I'd froth it.
I'd be down. Final fixture, like, honestly, because King's birthday rematch and Giants are really good against Geelong. Carlton versus Essendon would completely pack out the MCG, and then Port hosting Brisbane. Like that,
you're missing one team.
No, you'll
be coming home.
You'll do the World Cup playoff.
Yeah, no.
See, hey, we haven't been 9th in a long time. All right, it's been a long time since we've been 9th.
I have you finishing 12th on my ladder predictor. You finished 12.
Well, your footy tipping sucks, Joe.
It does. I only got 3 right last week.
So that means we're gonna finish 8th then.
All right, back on track, boys. McRae will get DPP. Yeah, I did a video on 2024 price predictions and selections for next year, and I believe McRae will be at about 580k. If he can get back to that midfield role, I feel like that's a bit of a no-brainer in our forward line here. Yeah. I don't know what you boys think.
Oh, for sure.
Corey, sorry, we're really behind on comments. Petrarch will most likely have it at this rate. Yeah, but I just wonder, like, he's going to be like 640K. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking prices at this stage, but I mean, if Petrarch got it, I could see him being at like 40% ownership, to be honest. So yeah, good point, Causa. George again. Cheers for jumping on, mate. You're a busy man, so I appreciate it. Flanders 420-ish K should get forward. Yeah, good call. I like that. If Dimmer Hardwick's going to coach them next year and keeps him in the midfield, then I think that's a good shout for our forward line. Hopefully Sheldrick 300K. Yeah, I had him at about 330 when I did my projections there. Himmelberg there, but no, Himmelberg, they can get stuffed. Like he can barely average 80 in the back line this year. Any team that picks him up will probably put him forward. I just couldn't do that personally.
Yeah, he'll probably go to the Tigers, I'm hearing.
Yeah, Tigers. I've heard the Tigers. I've heard the Swans. Yeah, there's a few teams out there that could pay him far too much money. So, so thank you for the comments, George. Corey, back to Global. I think the strategy for this year was a more methodical approach with hunting value selections.
Yep.
I feel like that's been like that for the past couple of years. And I think that's the new age sort of way of playing SuperCoach, where you gotta look for really good premiums at their lowest point, and you got to predict it well. Because no one picked up Petrarca. Not no one, but not many people picked up Petrarca at 576K. You gotta strike while the iron's hot sometimes when grabbing some of these big name premiums. Now I thought Petrarca would go lower. That's why I didn't pick him at the time. But he's proven to be super consistent. So yeah, good point. Good point, Global. Corey, Causa. Yeah, well, having all the popular top scores except Vaughan did help, and trading Marshall to Houston has been huge over the last 3 weeks. Big play. Yeah, that's worked out pretty well for you, mate. Yeah, no, that's worked out pretty well. No, good shout there. Global, the closest thing I get to washing the ashes is looking at my dog's ashes in a box. God rest his soul.
Poor doggo. Poor doggo.
Yeah, rest in peace, mate. Global again, with Baz going to the Cats, might open up for McRae. Well, it's not a guarantee that he goes to the Cats.
Yeah.
Every chance he could go there.
He's gone.
He is gone. I reckon he could stay.
Anyone the Cats want, they get.
Yeah, this is the thing about the Cats.
Their first round pick.
Every year, Cats get these players that are off-season hypes, and then they turn out just to be B-grade players anyway. So, like Tanner Bruins and Ollie Henrys, they were getting excited over the draft, saying, Geelong are going to be in the top 4. And, yeah, they're close enough. But these players haven't, played amazingly good where you're just like, wow, they're even SuperCoach relevant. Like Bose, like they get all these players, but I don't rate half of them when you watch them for the season. It's not like they are at their old clubs anyway. Like a lot of them just transfer and just become another B-grade player at the Cats. I mean, Cats are only good, and I don't care, comments come at me for this one, only good because they train in that bloody stadium, so they get 90% of their wins, and that's how they make finals, is because they're that home ground advantage that they play at the category. Their fans call ball after 2 bloody seconds of a tackle, and they just get the rub of the green every time at the Geelong Stadium. They're the most one-eyed supporters, apart from West Coast Eagles, and that's how they make finals, because they win 10 out of 11 home games that they play. And then they have all these Geelong Falcons players that they keep an eye on, so their talent over here, it's all homegrown, like Sydney with their academy bullshit too. So it's like the Cats just get given these good players so easily, and in this home ground advantage where they play interstate sides there, they just flog them every time. I said to a workmate the other day, I said, watch, and no offense, Joe, I said, watch Essendon get belted by the Cats. Like there's no chance of them getting even close. Next minute, I turned it off at half time. I'm not even a Bombers supporter.
I can't believe you watched that long. I can't believe you watched that long, bro. You should have turned it off in the first quarter. Oh, we're clearly not here.
was having a
Mate,
couple
I went
drinks
out
with a
after
friend.
quarter time.
Yeah. It was.
Not watching
I
this
called
crap.
it as well. I called it on our channel. I'm like, mate,
Yeah.
we're getting pumped up in the media all week long. And our heads are getting inflated. We're going to go to the Cattery and we're going to get absolutely demolished. I called it beforehand, and it's exactly what happened. We got absolutely flogged. And you're right. Like, it's the biggest home ground advantage in
Yeah,
the country. It's ridiculous. It doesn't
seriously.
help that they also take advantage of the Gold Coast Suns. They didn't get Bose. They got pick 7. Bose
Yeah.
was just the accessory, was the ribbon on top. They didn't give a shit about Bose. They wanted that
No.
pick 7, and they're like, we'll take Bose with it. Fine. No worries. You know what I mean? Like, the Cats are a very well-run team, and I think Tanner Bruin's time will come. He's still young. Tanner Bruin will come good. He's going to be their next Selwood. But it's ridiculous. The Cats, their advantage. It's not fair, dare I say.
I mean, it's the toughest job in footy. Realistically, it is the toughest job in footy. Going down the Cattery and getting the job done. We'll quickly go over a few comments and we'll go back to the run sheet. Tim Taylor's taken all the points away from Himmelberg. Yeah, no, absolutely no. There's too many mouths to feed in that Giants backline. It wasn't the case like it was last year. By the way, Himmelberg's just retarded. He's just been awful over the last 6 weeks. Getting caught holding the ball, kicks it to an opposition, doesn't know what he must be colourblind. He doesn't know what his teammates look like.
He's out the door, mate. That's why. He doesn't give a shit. He's gone. He's out the door. He doesn't care anymore.
Bloody Richmond or Sydney have offered him $900K. Like the offer's there. No, that's not true. But he's playing it the way he is. He doesn't really care. Causa, thank you for another comment, mate. Or Merrin in round 10 when he was $550K as well this year. Yeah, that's a perfect example of picking him up at the right time. You look at the matchup. Yep, I did that as well. Joe, did you do that as well, Brad? I have a feeling you did.
Yeah, I did as well. I picked all the premiums at the right price. I just started too many expensive players.
Yeah, I'm going to...
Not only did I trade Merritt in, I also captained him in that week as well. So I was a very happy boy.
I think I might have done the same. Was that when he got that huge score?
Against you guys, yeah.
Yeah, I did the same. I always try to captain a midfielder against Richmond most weeks, to be honest, because I know we just don't tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Global. The matches this week are insane.
Yeah, there's some massive games this week. We'll get into our tipping pretty shortly. Are you boys from Melbourne? Yep, we sure are.
I'm from Geelong.
But hour away, he can do it. We'll have to catch up at a game with some other legends of the community. That was one thing I was considering in my head. Maybe all of us boys, maybe during the finals bye, we all catch up. All of us content creators from Melbourne, all that sort of stuff. We can all catch up, reminisce on the season, that sort of thing, and catch up with the community. So for sure, mate. We'll get something sorted before
house party at Steve's house.
No, mate. I'm moving out. I'm moving out next year, so we could probably do something then. Still with my parents, boys, so maybe not quite yet.
No, we'll go to Geelong, mate. We'll go to Geelong. We'll take advantage of that home ground that you've got there, Brad.
May as well. I've got a 3-bedroom house. Let's party here, boys.
Disco.
I caught up with Brad, and he was doing some Tinder scrolling, and he wore these white shorts for the occasion, being in Melbourne.
Don't really wear white shorts that time.
Oh my god!
No, that was one time he wore white shorts when we caught up, being the away.
Oh, those jeans. It was jeans ones, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, them. All right. Let's head into the rundown. Let's do this again. Big call for AFL or SuperCoach. So it can be for either or. Doesn't have to be for both. What is your big call for the rest of the season? I've got one right now. It's going to be on SuperCoach. Canelio averages more than Butters for the rest of the season.
Oof.
Is that a big call?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, I think.
I'm going to say that. But Cornelio averages more than Butters for the rest of the season. Have you got one, Brad or Joe?
I've got one. Clary comes clean and tells us why he was actually sidelined. And I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get cancelled, but I think we all know why. And it's not a hammy, boys. I think it's some off-field related issues. I reckon at the end of the season, once the finals are done, that will actually go public, I reckon.
That is a load of frog shit, Brad. You know that deep inside. You know it's a load of bollocks.
No, I'm serious. I semi-believe it, mate. There's no way he has a lingering hamstring. I've had that bloke in my side since around 8 or 9, and then I held him for 8 weeks, and all this mystery hospital blister crap. I just give it a spell, Goodwin, whatever you are.
Joe, have you got one?
Yeah. My big call is that Carlton will make the finals this year, and they will win an elimination final as well.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Well, Carlton are in good form. Like, the way they're playing, they should be in finals. But, I mean, who's in the 8 right now? Like, I guess we can move on to that segment now. Predicting the top 8 and flag. So I'll bring up the top 8 right now so I get a correct gauge of what the ladder is. So at the minute, it's Collingwood, Port, Brisbane, Melbourne, Geelong, St Kilda, Western Bulldogs, and Essendon. So I'm trying to think. I personally reckon the ladder stays the same. The top 8, sorry, not the same order, but the top 8 stays the same, I think, in my opinion. I think St Kilda will drop a couple. I think Essendon might get 6th or 7th. Other than that, I think it's pretty locked in my opinion, on what I think for the rest of the year.
Nah, St Kilda aren't making it. St Kilda aren't making it.
Yeah, I agree.
They play North Melbourne and Hawthorn in their next 2. That brings them to 11 wins. They just got to win one of the next 4 to be on 12, and they should make it.
Yeah, I can't see it, though.
You don't reckon? Fair enough.
I mean, they've got who? They've got North this week. You could beat them. You beat them at Marvel before this year.
Oh, surely they don't go through with the same game plan when we lost.
They don't have the personnel. What can they do?
True.
They got Carlton. They'll lose to Carlton. They got the Tigers.
Agreed.
They could lose the Tigers. They got Geelong. They lose that. And they got Brisbane in Brisbane. They lose that.
I think they got to win one of Carlton or Richmond. Otherwise, I think they could be in a bit of trouble. I think they could beat the Tigers just because it's at Marvel. Dogs haven't got the greatest not Dogs. Richmond haven't got the greatest track record there. So you reckon Carlton replaces St Kilda? Would you change anything else?
Yeah. If there's another change that to be made, it's probably... I think we make it simply because we play you guys and we play North Melbourne and we play West Coast. So we've got some winnable games. We play West Coast and North. So that's 2 wins that we bank in. It could be the Dogs out and the Giants in.
I'd be all for that. If I'm sure many of you guys might not actually know, I really don't like the Dogs. So I'd be all for it. Apologies for any Western Bulldogs viewers. I'll keep it as unbiased as possible, but I wouldn't mind it if the Dogs miss finals personally. Brad, have you got any changes with your top 8?
Yeah, but I'm completely biased. I think Tigers come in for St Kilda and the rest stays the same.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough. And who have we all got for the flag? We all saying Collingwood? Do you reckon there could be another twist?
If they don't win it, then that is the biggest waste of a season, I think, for them. Because what they've shown this year is insane. And for them not to win it would be, I think, the biggest threat to Collingwood is Geelong.
I was going to say, I think it's a 2011 rematch. Wasn't that Collingwood and Geelong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon Collingwood win it too.
I think Collingwood win it as well. I think their biggest threat's Melbourne. I think when like Melbourne, we've seen the quality that they have at the MCG. Like, bless Port Adelaide and Brisbane, it's going to be a bloody tough job in a grand final to be beating that mob, Collingwood, on the last Saturday in September, or whatever the date is now for the grand final. They keep changing it. Whatever it is, first Saturday of October, whatever it is. So I think Melbourne could be their biggest threat.
I just think Geelong. I don't know. Maybe I watched too much the trauma of last week's performance, but you just feel like every one of their players is capable of winning a 1v1, and moving the ball really quickly. Yeah, Geelong. I think like all of their players are really good at putting enough pressure for Stewart to cut across, and then they just move the ball quickly to the twin towers of Hawkins and Jezza Cameron. Like I think their forward line with these two spearheading, I think is the best out of everybody in the 8 right now.
Well, on that, Joe, I think they've got the best forward line because of Stengel. Really, like that small forward's so powerful as well. But I think where they lose it is in the midfield.
They have Messi as well.
Hey,
they have Messi. They've got Messi, bro, on their in Geelong. You haven't heard about Messi?
Surely you know the meme. Oh, maybe you're just not on Twitter much. Anyway, there was a fake quote that Jared Waitley brought out. Well, he didn't bring out, but someone made a fake quote about Jared Waitley saying Brian Myers is as close as Lionel Messi or some other stuff. And Jared took it really personally about a fake quote. He said, take it down for like the whole day. Now it's become a meme that Brian Myers is Messi. That's where the joke came from.
And when Brian Myers kicked the first goal of the game, he did the Messi celebration as well.
Have you seen the way that bloke kicks? He kicks like worse than me, and I'm a bad kick. I'm a defender for a reason. But mate,
it's proper Matt Suckling territory. That
style, isn't it?
Literally.
But Stengel has been huge for Geelong's forward line. You're right.
He's a gun. Yeah.
Yeah. Geelong got some really good players. I do think they will miss Selwood heading forward because I think Bless Danger is not as good of a captain as Selwood at the end of the day.
No.
And even their defense looks pretty shocking at times, Geelong. So I feel like if you've got a good enough backline, like let's talk about Brisbane's backline, like a Harris Andrews and stuff like that, or Oliva and May, I feel like Geelong are more acceptable to a loss if you've got two really good key defenders that can shut those players down. Whereas I don't think they win as many clearances as some of these other top 8 sides. And I also think that defense, when Stewart's not on, they look pretty shaky in the back line with their younger guys around now. I think this year, they'll come close, but I still don't think they're a real threat in the end of the day. I think even Collingwood is still a 5-goal better side if they played a grand final tomorrow, to be honest with you guys. So, I just don't rate it. I think, like one of you said before, I think Melbourne's more of a threat maybe to a Collingwood rather than a Geelong. I think, I'm not going to say they're too old because that's obviously not true. But I just don't think they're as threatening as what some people think.
Yep. No, fair enough. Look, so before we get into, we went over a couple of things there, so let's go back to the comments real quick. Causa, mate, I did it earlier when Toot got injured with Will Day. That was in reference to, so that was back to when we were talking about the value sort of blokes. Will Day's been good as of late. 3 of his last 4 games a ton. So that's been good. Global, I'm in some huge capacity form lately with Dawn. Last week, roughly 150 in the past 7-8 weeks. Don't really. What does that mean? Am I tripping?
Huge capacity form. I think it means captaincy form.
Captaincy form. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay. Mate. Yeah, bloody hell, if you captain Gordon, that's bloody good effort.
Global. I've got Cogs and haven't got Butters. I think that was in reference to my big call when I said I reckon Cogs will outscore Butters for the rest of the year. So that's fair enough. I mean, a lot of people own Cornelio. I don't. So in order for me to keep climbing up the table, climbing up the ranks instead, I need Cornelio to just keep doing what he's doing right now, solid without being terrific. Causa, there wasn't any pictures of Clarion Hospital, so it could be fake. Let's move on to the next one. Global, Carlton missed out on the 8 and finished 9th again. Yeah, imagine who they got round 23? GWS.
Oh,
Okay. I wish they were playing Collingwood round 23 again. That would have been some good. That would have been very interesting. Global, Melbourne to win another flag. Yeah, I don't mind that shit. If Collingwood crap the bed, I mean, we know that they lose plenty of grand finals, so could be another year of the D's. I wouldn't be against it. Towan, is that how you pronounce it? Towan V? No, Hawkins will have a field day. Fair enough. And he also said Jack Henry's been really good. Yeah, so he was out at the start of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jack Henry. Was it foot surgery again, and then he had to come back from it?
Yeah,
I think
like
they've had a very injury interrupted. And it's just settled now, you know. So I think they've got most of their team is in. So that's part of the reason why they looked shaky before, but now they do look really ominous.
If I applied for the mid-season draft, Geelong would want me. I'm at the right age to be recruited by them, wouldn't I?
No, to me,
you'll get picked up by Collingwood, mate.
I'd rather jump off. I'm not going to say, but yeah, no way. I'd never wear Collingwood colours. If Dimmer goes to Gold Coast, I'll buy a Gold Coast membership, though.
Wow.
Well, that'd be pretty cheap just to get members on board, wouldn't they, these days?
The Gold Coast Tigers.
Causa, did you
See the guy who VC'd English and took Dawn?
Captain? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on, I believe it was on Facebook. I'm in the SDS SuperCoach's page on Facebook. And I saw someone that, stuff English. Let's go with Dawn as the captain Friday night, and went bang. I saw that, Causa. I saw that, mate. Right, just a couple more things to cover off. Overall goal for the rest of the SuperCoach season. So, Joe, we can start off with you. What's your overall goal for the rest of the season in SuperCoach?
I'd love to be able to finish in the top 1%. For having started the year around 80,000 rank, to be able to claw that back and hopefully finish in top 1% would be, I think, a massive achievement for me. I finished just outside the top 100 last year, so I had a lofty goals. Unfortunately, those were dashed very quickly. So for me, I'll just be settling for the top 1%. Hopefully, I can get there.
I think you can, mate. Certainly, there's a little bit of added pressure this year being a content creator, as you would have probably have known. There's a lot more pressure on us to deliver. So, no, I think you can get there, mate. Absolutely. Top 1%, that's, mate, you're like 200 rank spots off. You'll easily get that. Brad, what is your overall goal for the rest of the SuperCoach season? 6 rounds to go, not long left. What are you thinking?
Probably just top 5K, considering I started 100K and then in round 7 I was still ranked about 70,000K. I never really had a good shot at it. I've traded well all season, so it does put a little bit of pressure when everyone in the YouTube community is doing a bit better than myself. But from where I came, I think if you had a lot of YouTubers starting 100,000K, I think I've done pretty well to trade myself out of a box. I could be finishing 25,000 and not really be relevant this season. But I think I sort of give a point that even if you have a bad 6-7 weeks at the start of the season, you can claw your way back of making a somewhat solid side and somewhat good decisions in the process of that. So probably top 5K would be respectable enough from where I came from, and I think that'd be a big enough achievement from where I was at the start. I've only got 1 trade left, so I'm a little bit iffy to whether I use it now or I use it in 2 weeks' time. So there's not a lot I can do. I've got good bench cover. I mean, I haven't had to field a donut this season, so I've brought in the right rookies as well. I just have had awful luck, and it sounds like I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight the more I think about it. But yeah, top 5K for me, boys. That's the aim for me this season.
I think you'll easily get there, mate. You're too good of a player to not be inside the top 5K, so I think you'll know the right way around it compared to most. I think a lot of people will be going more for leagues. No, I think you can get a little bit of a leg up there to get inside there. So, Causa, hope to finish 3K high for the season. I'm sure you bloody can, mate. Massive week. I'm sure you'll keep it up. So, shoot for the stars, my friend. Look, for me, I'm 1,700. If I could somehow finish inside the top 1K, unreal, unbloody real. I would 1,000% take that if I can get that. But might fall short, but we'll see how we go. Been going up in the ranks the past month, so hopefully we can get there. But if not, hopefully stay inside the top 2K and beat my rank compared to last year, 2003. So even if I can't get there, look, it's all in all been a successful year. I'm not sure if you guys think, but I personally think this has been a harder season compared to last year. So if I can do better this year in a harder season, I think that's great progress. So I'd definitely take that. I think it's been a really tough year. Global, mate.
It was hard from the start with the whole sub rule, and we weren't sure how that was going to affect the rookies and things like that. Like it was mayhem, and people either saw that Shazer was training with the defense and quickly brought him in last second, and those that missed out had to trade to get him in. You know what I mean? Like it was a game of inches.
Yeah, if you can't nail the right picks, you either lose a couple of trades or and as well being at a really bad rank. So at round one, so it's bloody tough. You got to nail the right blokes, and sometimes it's a bit more harder than not. So global.
Yes.
I actually missed Abs, so I assume that's Abs Magic. I feel he's a shame with the way it's panned out for him. We should all be getting around him too to lift his spirits. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I've really loved Abs Magic's content this year. It's a lot different compared to what most of us do, and I think it's really good content when he's doing something a bit differently.
Look, the game plan that he did last year that he tried to do this year hasn't worked out, but he's certainly been super entertaining this year, and I sure hope that he does more content in the future. I feel like he's slowed up a bit just because of he's probably disappointed himself that he couldn't back up last season, but finishing fourth is bloody tough to do, so I don't think he should be too hard on himself. So sensational achievement to get to fourth. It's going to be near impossible to back that up the following year. So no, I think Abs Magic's been probably the best. He's probably been just sensational as a content creator this year. I enjoyed most of his content. He was punching it out like a madman. So good on him. So yeah, I think Abs hopefully can come back 2024 stronger than ever there. Causa played Abs last week in a league last week. I won by about 500 points, and I'm playing him this week in another league. Yeah, mate, he's ran out of trades. He's got a few injuries, so I think whatever league you're playing in, mate, I think you might be able to get him covered by the sound of it. Look, let's go over the last one as well. Best and worst trade of the season. Now, it's bloody tough because I think there probably a lot of contenders for either way, isn't there? There are a lot of things where we could go, gee, that was a terrible trade, but gee, that was a really good trade. So have you guys thought of one? Because I won't lie, I might need to do a little bit of research here before I pick one.
I'm having a look into mine too. So what do you got, Joe?
Definitely the best trade. Definitely the best trade I think was Hopper to Merritt in round 10.
Yeah.
And captaining Merritt in that week. That was probably the best. That round 10 week was really good for me, actually. I did Hopper and Setterfield to Merritt and Laird. So that week was flipping two mid prices into two Uber Primos. I was really happy with that trade. So that was a great one. And then for worst trade of the season, it might have been trading out Laird to Cogs at the start of the year. I just think that there was certainly a lot better options out there compared to Cogs, because I ended up trading out Cogs as well, only to trade him back in again. So it was a lot of wasted trades, I think, early on in the year, trying to fix my team up and things. I think just in general, my starting team was really speculative. I had Tanner Bruin, I had Fife, I had Wangan and Millerer. I had Setterfield. I had a lot of mid-prices. I went mid-price madness at the start of the year, and I think that was probably the wrong strategy. So it's not quite the worst trade, but it's probably the worst, I suppose, starting point for myself.
No, I totally get that, mate. Like, I thought, because I think we saw a lot of mid-price madness last year work out where we thought this year would be the same. Not always the case. Now, obviously, a couple of these mid-price picks worked out pretty well, but not as much compared to last year. I'll start off with my worst trade. It was, when was this? Round 4. Finn Callahan for Harry Rouston. What a disastrous pick. Callahan made about an extra 100K. Rouston was a dead rookie. Terrible, terrible trade. My best trade, look, for me, in my opinion, it might be, and thanks to Brad, because Brad really wanted me to do this trade, but it was Alwyn Davey Jr. to Bailey Humphrey. Made me about 200K, played me throughout the buys. So he was just super important. And it was just really impactful, because I'll tell you what, Gaston at that time was looking pretty dire, and you had to nail it. And I was pretty happy with that. So thank you, Brad, because I'll tell you what, I might not have done it. And if I didn't do it, it would have cost me about 50K in an extra trade. So thank you very much, mate. Have you got one, Brad?
Right. Yeah, I've got a couple ones that are quite interesting. So one of them is you make the best out of a worse situation, and that was when in round 10, Mills and Hopper went down, because I just bought in Mills that week before. So I went in round 9 to give you guys a start of it. It was Hollins and Gimby out for Weddle and Mills. I thought this is a good trade. I was up in Madura. Steve texts me when drama goes on. So anytime I get a text from Steve on a Saturday afternoon, I always start to cry a bit. And I knew it. I knew someone got injured, because he knows my side pretty well. Anyway, so I had to trade out Mills and Hopper out for Merritt and Hobbs. Captain Merritt that same week. Hobbs I should have actually kept, because he went on a bit of a heater. But then in round 13, this was a bit of a turning point for me to get my ranking a little bit shot up. Zeeble, Hobbs and Baker, Oscar Baker out, in for Brayshaw and Lockie Neal and Marek.
Yeah, so that's huge.
That was huge win. And the biggest loss for me was actually round 14, when I tried to be too fancy. And I've done this every year in a buy, where I flipped the primo that I probably shouldn't have, and I thought they were going to decline. So I went out English, Weddle and Mitchell for Melican, Cameron, and then I've got another Cameron, and I can't work out who that is. Oh, Jezza Cameron and Darcy Cameron.
Yeah.
So that's what stuffed my side, is that Cameron got a concussion, then doesn't play. So you got a 3, a 0, and a 53. Meanwhile, English is on a heater still. Weddle and Mitchell, that's okay. But bringing in Cameron and Melkins, it just feels like a dead trade to me. So then I had to bring in round 15 forward for Keys with that spare money I had left over, which was good, but still you can see the point there is in that top 5%. I should probably do what Steve does and have a look at in the back of the season. What he does is he'll look at the trade-ins of the top 5%, top 1%. I haven't really been doing that. And I learned this year that by Steve doing that, that's a part of his trade planning, is getting in the pods. It didn't work for Sicily last week, but it's actually a really smart idea, because you're not worried about the guys 20,000. So I'm probably going into next year looking into that a bit heavily and seeing what the top 5% are doing in terms of trades and who they're holding on to. Because if I had known so many people were holding on to English, I had the same problem as Joe is. I've got Briggs and Marshall there, and I should have, in hindsight, flipped one of them. But honestly, you got that many trades, you're always going to make one or two really, really bad ones, and it's just hindsight. So you got to take a punt, and I'm willing to take punts to make more money. And it's a bit like a stock market. You know, you might flog off 3 players, get two good stocks, one really bad one, but then there might be one that you should have just kept because it's just nuts. And you can't win them all. So I feel like trade-wise, that's the only one I can see that's really bad. All the rest are just injury prone, and that's what makes me really sad about looking at these trade histories. They'll do a trade thing, you know, then the season we can go through them all, but they're all based off injury and not sidewaysing premiums, like just for the hell of it. So that's what's annoying about my strategy this year. I haven't gone, let's just trade for the fun of it. I've actually had to trade out players because of, you know, these injury reports, medium, long, and whatever term. Now that's scrapped. So now we've got a bit more clarity of if we should hold it and if we shouldn't, albeit some coaches play mind games, boys. So anyway, a bit of a rant, but hopefully that sums it up for you.
No, yeah. Look, I think everyone here, everyone watching, any Supercoach YouTuber or content creator or Twitter user, we've all made bad trades. Like even number one can even who's number one at the minute? Is it Gaza?
Something like that. Number one at Supercoach at the minute, I believe it's Gaza. He could probably even admit, okay, this was a bad trade as well. So, look, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Look, we'll probably go
for another 10 minutes, I reckon, and we might call it a day. Not sure what you guys think. Got a message from Corey here. Worst trade was Dogged and only get 100 scored with him.
And also for best was Alan David at Briggs. Yeah, good trade. Or Darcy to English in round 4, 1 minute before the bounce. Yeah, I did that same trade with Darcy to English as well back in round 4. Yes, that was pretty good. David at Briggs, I'd almost say David at Briggs was one of your best trades because you're trading out a dead rookie. You're bringing in a bloke that made you bloody 250 plus K. So that would have been huge for you, mate.
I've got a question for you boys before we sign out shortly. If you're me, and I'm picking your brains here, I haven't asked you off air, you got one trade, you got 124K. Your defense cover is only Shinkoda at the back as your rookie cover bench. Melican's got injured, so I've got 124K in the bank. I can get any 400K player, right? And this sounds stupidly crazy, and you're going to think, don't even suggest this, Brad. For Melican, I can bring in Perryman, who his CBAs are going up. I know it sounds stupid. For Perryman, Tom Green's out for a couple of weeks. He's 386K. He gives me defense and midfield cover. I can loop his score, and he's my last. He's not really a primo. He's averaging about 80 thereabouts. If you take out that one out of his score at the start of the season, it's a bit different. But he's got some home games at home he plays all right at. So I've had a bit of study on this. Or do you take the punt and lose Johnson as your midfield cover and hope that Melican plays in the last couple of rounds in case Shinkoda goes down at the end of the season, and you got 449K to muck around with, and use that money instead and get like a Ed Richards as cover in the back line, or a I don't know. There's not a lot at 449, so I could grab a Penderbury who got subbed out, or a Callum Mills, or Patrick Dangerfield as cover, or a Sam Flanders. I'm up to anything because I've got Dunkley sitting on the bench. I've got Cameron sitting on the bench as well. But I don't mind taking a punt. Yeah. So would you hold that trade, or would you do something weird with it and grab a 24th primo?
Holden.
Holden? Yeah, okay. What about?
Yeah, I'd probably hold the trade for a rainy day. There might be a bloke in the last 6 weeks that is irreplaceable that gets injured for the rest of the year, and you're like, oh, crap, I've got to feel Harry Perryman, or you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'd probably hold the trade. One trade was 6 rounds ago. I'd hold it for a rainy day.
When would you guys burn it then? When would you guys be clear to burn it if you wanted to?
I'm doing it the last
ago.
Okay.
3 to 4 weeks ago. I reckon try to survive the next couple of weeks, then I'd probably burn it.
Yeah, okay. Done. Yeah, just want to know.
There will be similar options that open themselves up in a couple of weeks anyway. So might not be the same names, but could be different opportunities for different players. So I'd hold for a couple of weeks. I think it was announced that Milliken's out for 3 weeks. Who's your cover then? Who's your bench cover?
Chincotta and Milliken really are the only defensive covers, and always Constable gets a game.
Yeah,
Never.
Do you reckon Roberts gets a game? Matt Roberts from
I reckon
Sydney?
he will shortly. I reckon Roberts will get a game shortly. Yeah, for sure. Causer says I would burn it for Tex Walker for his West Coast game. Well,
I can't afford him.
Well, if we have one trade with in the last round, I'll probably burn all mine before I get to round 24. He's a good shout though. Like he kicked 10 against West Coast back in I forgot what round was it? Round 11.
Their waffle side.
Yeah. I'd do that if you have a trade with 1 round to go. All right, guys. We'll be on for probably 5 more minutes. So send through as many questions as you can, and we'll answer them. I'll probably go back to watching a bit more of the Grandma's Ashes and get the hay.
What are your footy tips before we sign off too, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Starting, yeah.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Brad. Totally forgot about that. We'll do our tips.
So Essendon versus the Dogs. We'll go with Joe, Brad, and me. So Essendon Dogs.
Us. We win. Bombers win by 21 points.
One eye supporter.
Mate,
What about
you can be my other eye. You can be my other eye. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Would be an interesting eye combination, that.
We're both sash teams. We're both sash teams, mate. Just a bit colourblind, that's all.
That's it.
Who are you tipping, Brad?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm actually tipping the Dogs.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. I'm going to go with the Dogs as well, mate. I'm sorry, but Essendon could look to bounce back.
All right. The grudge match. Me v.
Brad, this matchup, Richmond Hawthorn. For what it's worth, I'm tipping Richmond by about, I'm going to say 22 points.
Yeah, I think we've got the bye this weekend, Steve, so I'm tipping Richmond.
I'm going Hawthorn.
Really?
I don't think you guys did overly well against West Coast last week. I don't
No,
think.
you were shit.
This is why you got 3 tips last week, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I think the Hawks. I honestly reckon the Hawks. If Richmond come in not 100%, I reckon. I don't know. I think Sam Mitchell will concoct something special.
Wow,
yeah,
big
love
call.
it. Carlton versus West Coast. Do we have to go over this?
Nah, Blues.
Yeah, Carlton.
Brunetti would beat freaking West Coast at this point.
My local footy team would beat them. Brisbane Geelong. That's a big match. Big match. I'm going
Brizzy.
the Lions at the Gabba.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you reckon
it's
Joe?
only because it's at the Gabba. It's hard to go past Brisbane.
Yeah, if it was reversed, I'd go Geelong. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I'm finding this one tough too. Freo Sydney.
Sydney.
Look, Sarong will be back for Freo, which will certainly be a massive help for him.
I'm going to go the Dockers, I think.
Yeah.
Sydney were on quite a high. I think they could go back to reality a little bit this week.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go Freo.
Now, this is the big one. Port versus Pies.
Oh, it's Pies.
You going
Pies, easy.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
going to go Pies as well. Heading into, if you asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have gone Port just because of the home ground. But I think Port are a little bit worse for wear over the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to go the Pies there. I reckon 5 goals, to be honest.
Yeah.
GWS versus the Suns. I'm going to go the Giants.
Gewis.
Yeah.
For sure.
I hope Giants make finals. That'd be a good story. Melbourne, Adelaide.
Melbourne.
Yep.
Yeah, Melbourne. Adelaide love their own bed. St Kilda versus North. That's the final
St
game.
Kilda. St Kilda.
I think I'd rather watch lawn bowls than watch that game personally. So I'd go St Kilda.
Same.
No one is the winner from this game, honestly. Like, not even
the winner for that game.
Not even football is the winner. But yeah, we'll go with St Kilda.
I'd rather watch a 0-0 draw in the Premier League than watch that.
Probably. Yeah. No.
How about VC and C's this week, boys?
Oh yeah, and
English is a VC for sure.
Yeah, I'm going English as well. What about you, Brad? You going English too?
Get stuff, Steve. I will smash you.
Look, I don't have English myself.
This is on a screen.
I don't have English. I'm doing Golden. I don't have English, so I'm doing Golden into Marshall.
That's a good shout. Golden into Marshall. I like it.
Well, Marshall against Cherry.
Joe, with Essendon, will they play 2 rucks this week?
Maybe. I don't know. We do like the 2 ruck setup, but Brian is always quick to be dropped, unfortunately, for some weird reason. Phillips should be back.
I thought Brian was good last week.
He was good. I like him. And even Brad says he's too good for VFL. So maybe this is the week that we play Phillips and Brian.
Yeah, because I was just wondering if two rucks for Essendon sort of make it a bit harder for English. That's just sort of what I'm debating. If it's just 1 ruck, then I'll go English. But I wonder if that's a bit harder for English when it's 2 rucks. I don't know.
He does his work around the ground. I think it's between
English and Bond. Yeah. Yeah, Phillips is runs in sand, that bloke. Getting around the ground. Yeah, I'm going either English or Bond, depending on selection, into Dawson as captain on the Sunday. Probably. What are you doing, Brad?
I think I'm going Bont as my VC. I haven't worked out my C. I know I said I'd never captain Laird again, but he scores pretty well against Melbourne, so I'm tempted to go that sort of route. I feel like Laird plays better against good sides and sort of slows down against bad sides. I don't know if that's true or not, but when I've watched him, he sort of tapers off when he's belting a side, and it's more the forwards that get all the points. So probably VC, Bont, and then maybe even C, Dacos, because he's so reliable this year.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Might be a hard matchup, but you can just rely on him to get 100 plus or so. So
yeah,
that's a good one too. Any trades we're making this week, boys?
Nope.
All on fire. Yep. All right. Look, I think we'll leave it there, guys.
That was a good solid hour and a half session. Unless we get any comments in the next 30 seconds. So, Joe, thank you very much for jumping on as a guest on the live stream. It's great. You're more than welcome to jump on the channel anytime, and you've invited me over a couple of times, so I really do appreciate that. So I thought I'd ask you because you're really nice to me throughout the year. So thank you very much for jumping on, mate.
Oh, no, I really appreciate you having on and reaching out to me, man. Absolutely. We love talking Supercoach and footy with you. And Brad, of course, it was always great having the chat today. It was great. You can please, if you haven't subbed to us over at the Centre Bounce, I love it how my screen happens to freeze right at that opportune moment. At the Centre Bounce YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Twitter at @Centre_Bounce. So thank you so much for having me, Steve and Brad.
No worries.
One thing before you jump off, Joe, is quickly tell us about Fancast. It's a pretty new little project from you boys. Can you quickly tell us about that? How's that been coming along? It looks pretty impressive.
It's been good fun. Love doing Fancast. Just a bunch of blokes who love their footy getting together in a Preston studio run by Sportscast. And yes, the program is called Fancast. We record every week, and we put up an episode every week. And there's always a bit of little clips here and there. We just talk all things footy, so anything that's topical and we give our 2 cents on those, and it's been so much fun. We've got a bunch of big guys, so myself in there and Big J do it. We've got Swizz from SuperCoach Insider doing it as our resident Richmond supporter. We've got Swoop Luke, who is a big Collingwood man. And we've also got the Sands TV boys, who are Jake and Joyce, from those who know Sands TV. They're in there. And we also have Daz from Daz Talks Footy, who is our resident Hawk. So we have a bunch of people who get on. It's never the same cast every single week. And yeah, it's called Fancast. Thank you so much, Steve, for bringing that up. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, sounds like a great project, man. You're doing a great job with it. So yeah, make sure you follow the Centre Bounce and also Fancast wherever you can. Brad, great live stream again, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. Any women on Tinder, just swipe right to me. I'm in Geelong.
Hey, we're getting no women viewers here, mate. You're looking at the wrong area.
I'm joking. I just want to be silly. Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Steve. It was a good segment as well. And, yeah, appreciate Joe coming on too. It's always good with people you haven't done too many things with before. So, yeah, I got my other hand on my phone or else I would have done a double heart too.
Yeah. No, good stuff, boys. Look, we'll be back again with the live stream. And, look, we'll leave it there for the broadcast. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for all the questions. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Centre Bounce, SuperCoach Pro, and yours truly as well, the great SDS SuperCoach. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.